So hello friends, welcome to another new video, and in this video I'm just going to explain how to improve the performance of your PC, right? I'm going to explain how to optimize the speed of your PC if you are facing any issues in the performance, or if you find your laptop, especially your Windows laptop or PC is laggy, then what is the first things you need to check, right? So I'm just going to give you around 4 or 5 useful tips here. The first one is going to be task manager. Okay, so how do you launch Windows task manager? You just click on your taskbar here, just right click, and you will see something called task manager. Okay, you can also go to the start menu, type task manager, and this will open up. Okay, so what is task manager basically? So you can see it is having many tabs, right? Processes, performance. There's something called as app history, startup, users, details, and services. So I'm going to explain each one of them in just like 2 or 3 minutes, like not more than 3 minutes, how you can diagnose and get to know the root cause of what is exactly slowing down your PC. For example, if I come to processes, right, it just tells the list of processes which is running in my PC. Okay, as you can see here, I'm just having a file explorer, a Chrome tab where I'm recording the screen, and task manager. So I've actually not got anything, no programs open beyond this. But then why do you see so many processes running? Okay, so let me answer that. The first one here, if you see that it's system, there is Chrome. So there are a lot of background processes and some processes which are required for a smooth working of the computer, right? So suppose if you right click on search and click on end task, then what's going to happen is that you won't be able to use this particular search functionality, right? So as soon as you type, it won't give you the recommended matches from the search. Google Chrome, of course, because I have some Chrome tabs open. There is something called as runtime broker, a registry. There is a OneDrive sync service, although I don't think I'm signed into OneDrive. Okay, so here you see things like CPU, memory, disk, and network. So these are exactly the three areas: CPU, memory, and disk, which you need to check first. So let's get in. Okay, so as you can see, I have clicked on CPU. So now all the programs are sorted from a descending order of the CPU usage, right? So here I see that Google Chrome is consuming between 4 to 6% of my CPU, and it's also consuming around 350 MB of memory. Now let me come and click on memory. So it sorts the memory in the descending order, right? The programs are being sorted by the descending order, that is the highest to the least of the memory which they are consumed. So here we are seeing that Chrome again tops in the CPU and tops in the memory. So I can say that if my PC is laggy now, then the first thing I'll do is click on Chrome. I'm not going to bother what are the threads. If I'm not having anything very important or relevant open, I'm just going to go here and click on end task, right? So, and another thing which you have here is if you can also check the disk. So now I'm clicking on disk, and I see that again Chrome is coming up here, and then sometimes it's system. So maybe there is some kind of an antivirus service that is running in the PC, right? And Chrome also might be checking, like, since I've opened a screen recorder, it also might be, the tab might also be interested in where I'm going to save the file, since it also have the save handle, right? So CPU, memory, and disk is are the first things you need to check to at least get to know what are the programs that are slowing down your PC. Okay, so next let me come to performance. So this is one of the most important places wherein you can check the performance of your PC at a glance. Okay, I'm not talking about a process level, I'm just talking about an overall level. Okay, so let us dive into the second part, which is the performance monitor. Okay, so as you can see, the total CPU usage of your PC shows up here. The total memory utilization, that is the physical memory in use by active processors, comes here. This shows the total utilization across all the actual disks, and this shows you the network utilization. Okay, whichever is your primary network, whether it's a LAN or a wired or a Wi-Fi and all that. So now if I come here to the performance tab, I can see that the CPU utilization is around 9%. Now it's gone up to 15%. So be- since Chrome, I'm only having Chrome and File Explorer here as the main primary programs which I've opened from my side. there is still around 6 to 15 or 6 to 18% of CPU getting consumed, right? So what does it mean? It actually means that from the total CPU power, I'm already utilizing the the amount which is coming here, right? So now suppose that I'm opening a few other programs. For example, I'm opening this. I'll just open another window and I'll just go to some like YouTube videos and just will go to you know YouTube and just see whatever comes up randomly, right? So I'll just going to search like football videos. So the moment I go here and I just click video, I'll see that spikes up, right? So I can see that the utilization has again gone up, which means this video is actually trying to do something on the CPU. Now let me close this particular video and again come back here. You see that the CPU utilization has again fallen down. Okay, so this is what it indicates. And there is also a view which you can right click here and you can change the graph to the logical processes view, which means i'm I'm on a Windows laptop which is having a 2 core, and there are 4 logical processes. So this gives you the consumption or CPU utilization over the last 1 minute by all the 4 logical processes. Okay, if you don't wish to see this, you can pretty much come back to the overall utilization. Now memory again. So I'm having around 8 GB of RAM. That is what it says. I'm having around 8 GB of RAM in my laptop, wherein 3.9 GB is already committed to all the processes. Okay, and here you can see the slots used, whatever memory is in use. There are a lot of terms here like cached memory means the memory which is used for the cached pages, like some for the OS, a paged pool, non-paged pool, which I'm going to cover in detail, right? And here you can see the disk. So I'm having a single disk which is a disk 0. If you have 4 disks in your laptop or 4 separate physical disks in your PC, you will be seeing names like disk 0, disk 1, disk 2, disk 3, and so on. Okay, so I'm having a WD Green 2.5 disk of a 240 GB size. Okay, if I open up here, you will see that the total comes around 240 GB, out of which 225 or 220 GB is the utilized is the total space available for my files and all that, right, for the actual utilization. Wi-Fi and GPU, yeah. So if you are using any resource intensive or graphics intensive programs like a Corel Draw or Adobe Photoshop and all that, or a very a movie editing type, then you have to come here to the GPU, right? So CPU and memory are the most important places wherein you can try to you can get a sense of how is your PC performing. And if you want to know why is my CPU utilization high or why the memory utilization is high, you can of course come back to the process because it's going to show the same number here. Okay, now let's go and explore the other tabs. Okay, so I've already covered processes and performance, right? So I'm just going to come on app history. So app history is something which shows you a resource usage for the last 30 days. Okay, so this basically shows you what time or for what duration the programs were active. Okay, so photos. So in the last 30 days, photos, that is the application which I used to open some of the photographs were active only for 41 seconds, but Windows backup was active for 53 seconds. I guess this is in seconds, I'm not sure there. Mail and calendar for 1 minute and 31 seconds. So I don't think this is going to be of a much importance, but yeah, from a tracking point of view. Okay, now this is again, I would say, the third most important of these like 7 tabs, right? Why? Because here you will see that it says startup, there is something called as enabled and disabled. So what exactly does it mean? Startup stands for the programs or the services or applications in your PC wherein if the status says enabled, then it means these programs get enabled automatically as soon as your PC or your laptop starts up without you realizing it. Why? Audio manager, Windows security, the background audios, these things, the audio needs to start. You don't manually tell the system that, hey, okay, start the audio devices. Tomorrow if you need Skype or say Microsoft OneDrive to start or to get executed immediately on system startup automatically, then you will just right click here and you will click on enable, right? Also, there are two other ways. One of them is the shell common startup, and there is also a shell startup here. So these two places, if you add any programs here, you can manually add them, which to make it uh, the specific programs to enable on system startup, right? Okay. Users, so this is nothing much. This is actually the users who are logged in, and this is my user over here, which you can see here. Okay. You have the details. This is nothing but the processes and its thread, but in a more detailed view. Okay, it tells you who are the users who are like using the PC. It also tells you what is the individual memory consumption, the total CPU utilization. Okay, so here you can see that this totals up to 100, wherein there is something called as a system idle process, which is occupying most of the time. So most of the CPU usage, around 78, 89, 90%. Okay, what is this? I'm going to cover in my further videos. And this again is a very important tab, which is other services tab. So this shows you a track of what services are running. Okay, some programs may need defense services. Some services, for example, might have certain dependencies. If I go here and open the services, then here you will see that there are some dependency tabs and all that. Okay, so this is the services manager. You will see that there are dependencies. That is the all join router service. It's not dependent on anything. Okay, if I go to something called as background intelligence and just check here. Okay, so here there is a dependency, that is the background intelligence transfer service depends on the RPC. Okay, great. So this services actually tells you that what are the running services by the process, right? So for example, PID 1376 is the process ID in task manager, is the running for the display services. Okay, fine. So I hope this video was informative. I just gave you an overview of the task manager. Do let me know in the comments any feedback. I appreciate it. And please do like and subscribe to my channel. Thank you.